Alright, let's start off with 13 assassins.
Well, 12 assassins and one random guy.
Well, he's an assassin. He kills people. Like that.
With a rock. I have a rock.
I have a rock. I got a rock.
Rock. I'm the power of the... Ah, Twisted Sister. I don't know with this fucking song. No.
And welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast, Netflix and Kill Edition. And boy, we got some killing to talk about today.
Did we kill somebody?
A lot of killing.
Oh boy, so much killing. And so little Netflixing. I don't know, the ratio is usually more even about it, but tell you what, who's talking about the correct ratio of Netflix Visa killing? It's me, Nick the Merc with a mic, and my fellow Unapologists,
Travis.
And Kyle.
Oh man, and we got Kyle's pick today. Kyle, what did you pick again? Was it 12 Baker's Dozen Assassins, I believe?
Yes, a Baker's Dozen Assassins.
It was a Baker's Dozen Assassins, yes.
Yep.
Or no, 13 assassins. That is absolutely correct. Kyle, would you like to explain a little bit about the plot of 13 Assassins?
The Shogun's brother, I believe it is.
Half-brother.
Half-brother.
Yeah, half-brother.
That's still brother.
Yeah.
Is kind of, has his own reign of terror and a bunch of, and a politician wants to end it, so he sends 12 assassins after him. And then we pick up a third rustabout. A little bit later. A 13th. Yeah. So that's the basic plot and the gist of it. I mean, this guy, throughout the movie, I should say throughout the first act, we see that this guy is just a complete dick to everybody.
He's an asshole.
Dude.
He is like a mixture of every character from Game of Thrones and Leo DiCaprio's character from Django Unchained.
He is like Joffrey levels of dickish. Like one of the early scenes is that one of the guys later that we'll talk about, a higher up's son and wife are serving this douche, I guess.
Lord Douche.
Lord Douche. I think it was Norinaga or something, right? Or Noriaga? Fuck.
There was a couple of Shizamon.
Okay, so they're serving Lord Douche, and the wife is going to get something like picture scrolls. I think they said because it was like, oh, we're going to go get picture scrolls for entertainment. I was like, is he a child? Does he need picture books or picture scrolls? Here's the nice pictures, yay! But no, like the wife is in the hallway and the Lord passes her, and if she, of course, stops and bows as he walks by, and for whatever reason,
he decides to rape her.
The guy decides to, like, who are you? Well, just the wife. Like, aren't you at their house? Like, why are you surprised that and you're raping her? Okay, yeah. Well, that seemed out of nowhere.
Well, but Kyle, no, according to him, he owned her because he was part of the shogunate, so she was just his property. Yeah, so it's not rape.
And he waited for the fucking husband to come back and laid out in that fucking like fireplace pose.
Yeah.
I was just
like these are mine. Yeah. Like your children are laid up in front of you. Yes, I did this. Yeah. Yes, I just raped your wife. There's a thing. Okay, director of 13 Assassins. There's this thing called show or tell, don't show.
Yeah.
Typically, we want to say show, don't tell.
Yeah,
but it's okay to just tell in this case.
Maybe this time he basically has the attitude of like, yeah, what? Do something about it. And then the husband goes to check on his obviously horrified and traumatized and physically hurt wife. And when his back is turned, the fucking Lord Douche stabs him right in the fucking back.
Literally.
Yes. And it's like, what the hell was that about?
Yeah, he lines up a family, including children, and he shoots them with arrows for target practice. He chops off a woman's limbs and uses her body while she's still alive as a sex puppet. Mm-hmm. It is fucked up.
And then throws her away. And you see this lady.
Yeah, you see this lady in her suffering.
Don't forget, he also cuts out her tongue.
Yeah, because it was like, what happened to the rest of your family? Oh, she doesn't have a tongue either. They're like, Jesus! So she's got to write out what happened to her, like, with ink and blood's getting all over it.
With her mouth.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, with her mouth, she's got to write calligraphy. Like, I have a hard enough time even trying to, draw a picture like that fucking artistry of calligraphy there, and I'm like, okay, I gotta do it with my mouth now, okay. So, yeah, this guy is a special level of...
The movie really goes out of its way to make you hate him.
Yeah, like, luckily he, it's easy for him to find his many different of his hats later, because they're all marked ass on a part of it. It's just this Lord ass hat of all the ass hats. Just, God. So, yeah, surprisingly, some people don't like this guy.
Yeah.
They recruit...
For whatever reason.
They recruit these old samurai, and then I love that, after the whole horrible... mute amputee lady gives her writes out her message. Our main assassin, our main samurai that they're trying to hire to take out this lord, starts to laugh to himself. I'm like, this seems like a weird time.
Yeah, that was really awkward. I'm like,
But he's excited because it's peacetime, because this is based off of
I think this is in between the Tokugawa and Meiji era, where there was a brief amount of peace.
Yeah, and so they're all like, yeah, it's been a while since we've had any sort of battle, and we could really use the challenge. So he's excited to test his mettle again and hopefully die in an honorable way.
Samurai are weird.
Oh yeah, we forgot about the very opening of this movie where someone just commits harakiri in protest of the Lord. It was just like, this guy's such a dick that I'm not going to wait for him to come around and do something fucked up to me. Instead, I'm just going to kill myself in protest.
We always made fun of that bit for British people. Oh, I bite my thumb at you. The Japanese are weird. They're like, oh, I stab myself for you. Ha 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 ha. See what I'm doing here?
And apparently that's a big insult, because the Lord was like, hey, you keep that shit quiet. I don't want anyone to know that he did that. Mm-hmm. And, so yeah, that actually inspires the move upon the other politicians to to move against this guy, hire these assassins. And the rest of the movie kind of becomes this tension-filled, at least the middle part of the movie becomes this kind of tension-filled, planning stage of,
Well, it's really weird because, Lord Douchehat's, advisor, the person right below him...
Oh, yeah.
...knows that his plan is happening. And he knows who's doing it.
Yeah, he's...
really early on.
He is, it seems like a lot of them know they might not know the particulars, but they know there's something moving against them. Mm-hmm. And, the second in command, I forget his name, but you're right, he is on the spot. With what's going on. And so they run around and hire some, they have some samurai, some nameless samurai that can die later in the final battle. And that's their only job, is to be there. Our main dude's nephew is part of the crew.
Yep.
My favorite must have been Spear Guy.
Yeah, I did like Spear Guy.
Spear Guy, he was jolly.
Spear Guy, he comes up okay, I'm gonna join your suicide mission. You just gotta pay me 200, was it Rio or,
whatever currency
was. And it was whoa, so you just want this up front? Well, yeah, I want some to, pay any, life debts that I owe, this much to, go to my wife's, funeral arrangements, which I wasn't able to pay for before. Because his wife is now dead. Mm-hmm. A certain amount of it goes to my funeral arrangements, and then everything else is so I can fucking live this shit up, baby. So I can party like it's not 1844. Woo! They all laugh. Man, we can get behind this guy, alright. Because this dude, he's just yeah, I want to party. Let's get this going.
I'm gonna die having fun.
And then there's even a couple of Ronin in the crew. Their badass is kind of this Ronin that appears out of fucking nowhere. In one of the
it just saves one of the guys from assassination.
Yeah, and he kind of just joins up with the crew, because he was around.
Yep.
And
Convenient.
yeah,
Would you like a job?
hey, we just happen to need someone who can kill like hundreds of people. Like, oh, I can totally do that. It's in my job description. And then there's only a couple skirmishes that are in between the start of this film and then the final battle. And that's one of the skirmishes there. Then when they first arrive at one of the towns on their road to, because they're trying to figure out, like, one of the big things is to try to figure out where to make this final stand to murder this guy when he's on the move. So they pick this town, and it's like, okay, we have to have this town, we can fortify at this location, and then there's even question of whether or not the dude will even pass there. Because they need to convince one of the other lords to not let him pass.
Yeah, but it's the lord who's, Lord Douche had killed his son and daughter-in-law.
So he's even more than amenable to like, oh, yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll prevent him from passing. Go ahead. And then he kills himself.
Then you give it to Harakiri.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd bite my thumb at you, sir.
Well, I always find this samurai code very interesting. The Bushido aspect of these films very interesting, is because it's such a culture based off of honor and maintaining one's honor to seriously like crazy devoted degree.
Not even just honor, but loyalty. Like, loyal to death.
Well, the shogun, the Lord's second in command, is like, this guy is horrible for our country. Like, there's no doubt about it that he feels that way.
Yeah, you can see it in his face sometimes.
Like,
he
is.
He wants to bring back the era of war, and then all of a sudden it zooms in on the main commander's face, going like, I might be the bad guy.
I don't think he ever doubts that. I think he always knows that this guy is an asshat. Just that he can't do anything about it because it's his sworn duty.
Kyle's right though. During that one scene, he did have that look, which was like he just figured it out, like his face. And then, their level of like devotion and how they rationalize, like, because they're basically committing I think their version of treason by plotting to kill this guy. Because which
is probably why he ends up killing himself at the end. Or not at the end, but afterwards.
Right. After preventing their crossing.
And then, so he... so that has to work, and then they have to count on the guy not ignoring this one village, because part of traveling is that he's supposed to stop at certain clans and families and stuff to pay his respects. And if I was me, I'd be totally cool if he passed me up, because I don't know when the fuck he's gonna get into a wife raping, husband murdering mood.
There's actually now I'm going off, but there's a Japanese themed board game called Hokkaido that's kind of similar, where you visit certain spots on your travel to somewhere, and it's actually kind of fun. Back to the movie.
That does sound fun.
I actually do like the scene though, where he's trying to get past that one bridge. Cause like, this guy is so smug the whole fucking movie, he's just like, I'm gonna walk through it cause these guys are just my peasants, I own them. And then the guys pull out guns, and he proceeds to still move forward, and his minions have to like basically throw themselves in front of him, like, dude, what the fuck? They're going to shoot you.
And this would have been the time that Japan would have had gunpowder and stuff, so... outdated guns, but yes, they would have guns.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be able to shoot once, but they had like 13 of them, so...
There's like certain points in this film where I think this guy thinks he's immortal.
Yeah, honestly.
Like, I think he actually thinks he can't be killed. Like... He is just that level of fucking crazy. Like Kyle was saying, we were sort of watching it together as he was editing, and he was just like, and he just pointed to one of the scenes as like, that's why you have kids play with other kids on an equal level when they're young.
Yep.
So they don't get like crazy these fucking crazy ideas in their head.
You need to have little kids get hurt by one another so that they know that hey, this stuff hurts. We shouldn't do this to each other.
It's important when you need to have instill empathy into others.
Yeah. Well, it just happens by accident. But if you're like hyper protective of, say, this the shogun's son, they're never gonna learn empathy for anybody else.
Well, especially in that kind of era where they do treat people like objects, not helping.
So yeah, we get another skirmish in one of the towns. That's pretty neat. The spear guy like gets a really cool move where he stabs one dude and like flips him over into another thing. It was really cool. And
We also get the guy who's like, has his first actual human kill.
Yeah.
And just like,
well, some of these guys are pretty young.
How you doing?
Some of these guys are pretty young, where they would not have seen combat yet.
Right.
So this is the first time this kid has killed anybody. Mm-hmm. So you kind of see with him dealing with that. Although later he's really on the murder train.
Yeah.
Like he is.
Well, they all murder a lot of people at the end.
So yeah, I did like the middle of this part of this film because there is this tension of like, is this plan gonna work? Can they trick these guys into here? Like, there's this maneuvering because they're basically just waiting at this town, and the other guys are trying to send misinformation, make them reveal themselves, and the guys are like, no, hold off, we can do this, and then it culminates in this final battle. Where...
Well, do you want to talk about where they got lost in the mountains?
Of course, yeah. I totally forgot about our 13th member. My bad. I forget his name, but we meet...
It doesn't matter.
Our monkey.
Our 13th member, who is strung up in this, like, cage thing, because they took a shortcut, they got lost, and they're just like, who the hell is this guy stuck up in this tree? So they cut his ass down... And he's like bitching and moaning, and he's talking about like, okay, well, I'll guide you guys out of here for some food. And they're like, oh, all right, we got nothing better to do. And he was telling them about like, okay, why were you stuck up in that tree? Oh, I messed around with he was part of this bandit group.
Yeah.
And I messed around with the boss's girl. They all these samurai, like, you know, normally I think of samurai as very humorless, but these samurai were funny. Mm-hmm. Like, they were all sorts of funny. They're like, the one guy was cracking jokes, and like, yeah, because
there were the two in the back that were, I imagine, were just carrying all of the swords for something that we're going to talk about later on.
Yes. So many fucking swords later. Okay.
Best scene in the movie, though.
Yes.
And they were in the back carrying all the swords, and they're mainly just for comic relief.
Oh, yeah.
Like the leeches scene, which was hilarious.
This movie is surprisingly funny at certain points. Like, whether intentional or unintentional, the film does make me laugh. And so yeah, he decides to guide them around, and he kind of just hangs around at the very end, to be part of the battle, because he gets into kind of an antagonistic relationship with one of the other samurai, and he's just like, yeah, why don't you fuck off out of here, because the things are about to get really bad, and we're probably all gonna die here, and you should put some value on your life. And then the guy's like, oh, you think you're so fucking special, you stupid samurai? I'll show you. I'm gonna stick around and get myself killed too.
I almost kind of forgot he was there until he started actually going in the battle. I'm like, wait, why did you say? Oh yeah, that's right, because you just didn't want to leave.
He was like, I have a rock.
I have a rock. Okay. I was wondering, like, okay, when he first shows up, he's using the rock and the slingshot and like a stick with a rock tied to it, and I was like, okay, did seriously no one have an extra sword to give this guy?
We know they had extra swords.
I'm pretty sure he's of the class where he's not allowed to have a sword, but...
Okay. But still, you'd figure he'd pick up one from the dead enemies or something. I don't know.
But no, he ties a rock to a stick, and he throws rocks with his slings. Yep. That's his thing. That's his superpower.
Yeah. And clearly they had a couple swords for him later. Like later we get the reveal, like, oh yeah, they definitely had extra swords that he could have used. But yeah, we finally get to our final battle sequence, and without going into, we'll talk a little bit about it without going into too much spoilers for it, because we'll do a whole. You really should go into it without too much of a spoiler on the ending, because it is like the best part about this movie.
It is amazing.
Because, this whole movie has just been leading up to this one moment.
Yep.
From, like, fucking 10 minutes in, this is the thing that it's been leading to.
Yep.
And you realize that, like, okay, yeah, instead of 70 guys, like they originally thought they were going to have to kill...
I can't hold in my laughter. Can we hurry up?
There's like 200 guys.
Kyle needs us to get to the spoiler section.
So, without spoiling too much, it is fucking glorious.
It's kind of awesome.
Like, it is... truly amazing.
I mean, this movie's only like an hour and a half long, right?
I can't remember.
I think it was like 2 hours.
I think it was longer.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. Runtime for IMDb says 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Okay.
So it is a significant length, but a lot of
it just didn't seem that long. Apparently,
well, it was a slow-moving movie until that end.
So yeah, you get a big, a larger force is set upon by a smaller insurgent group. and they use the territory to their advantage. They're setting up traps. They're
They basically booby trap a village.
using the environment and apparently superpowers. Like at a certain points where you figure like at a certain point in the battle, you're like, okay, the only way these guys are still alive is if they are like fucking X-Men mutant style people and have healing factors.
Yep.
like, which we'll get to in a spoiler section, but like that, for me, the rest of the movie was pretty good. Like it was pretty good. I was enjoying it. It was funny in certain points, and the acting was all very good. The way these guys handled themselves they had very much dedication. You could tell like they were carrying themselves with like dedication and honor, but yet they pulled off being funny and kind of affable as well, to the point where you actually really liked these guys. And I thought like, wow, that was a really a tightrope that they managed to walk very effectively. So I don't know. For me, I was really enjoying with it, but then at the very end, I was just like, man, this is fun as balls. This is so much goddamn fun. So for me, I think I'm going to have to give this movie a 4 out of 5, but with a strong recommendation to give it a watch, because I don't think it'll be everyone's cup of tea, because it's like the end of the movie is not like, you know, it's not really action packed until then. Like it's very slow, and it does a lot of
very
character
political almost at first, with the whole negotiating things to get everybody together.
But I think they give you enough context for it to hold your interest.
Oh yeah, you want this guy dead.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
And you can see everyone's actual reasoning behind not wanting, like, individuals have reasons to want to do this, and it does come through on that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Kyle, what about you? Is your movie? What'd you give it?
I think the motivation was great, and like I said, you definitely wanted to see this guy die. Once you see that beginning, you're gonna go like, I'm seeing this through to the end.
Yeah, I gotta
fuck this Lord asshat.
Yep.
I gotta see this guy get it.
I was kind of a little disconcerted by seeing the naked, armless woman. It's like, why could you couldn't just like clothe her or anything?
There's also a scene later where, like, one of the main characters is like, and we're doing this for that nameless, limbless woman. I'm like, was she nameless, or did you just never bother learning her name? Like,
well, that's another thing she would have had to write with her mouth in agony.
But I mean, still.
You know, what's your name? And you know what? Never mind. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
Although then there are a couple points in this movie where like the CGI work is like,
yeah, the CG was like, there's this point where they blow up something, and there's like horses falling into a bridge, and first of all, you could have just shown people on a bridge, explosion. We would have gotten the picture.
Big gray cloud, and that's about it. Like there wasn't
maybe
really...
a little extra blood where the remains were. Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to show us all the CG. But otherwise, I think it was pretty fun. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10, actually.
6 out of 10, alright.
Yeah, it's good, not everybody's cup of tea.
No. Like, for me, it gains major points in that ending.
Oh,
like,
that ending was glorious.
So, Travis, how about you?
Well, for me, it's funny because my rating kept going up as I was watching this movie. When I first saw it, I was like, well, this is actually pretty interesting. It's well made, put out and all that. It's just really slow. So I was like, I'll probably give this movie like a 6 out of 10. And then I got to that final battle, I'm like, alright, I know I'm automatically giving this a 7 out of 10 now because this is amazing. But then it got to that scene at the, with all the swords at the end, which is what we're going to get to spoiler about. And I'm like, okay, you are getting an extra star just for this scene. I love this scene enough that I was like, you know what? You get an 8 out of 10 for that.
Yeah,
bonus points.
There's also this other point where if they had done something only slightly different, I would have given it a full point upgrade.
I think I know what Kyle's going to mention, and we'll get right into that in the spoiler section. But first, we're going to announce what we're going to watch next week, so you guys will be ready for that. And we're going to watch a little film called I Am Not a Serial Killer. Because it's my pick. It's my pick next week. So, and I want to prove to you once and for all I'm not a serial killer. So I think this is will document so that you guys will no longer have those suspicions about me.
Well, if we dyed that kid's hair white, it might just look like you, so.
He does have that weird kind of look. Like he has killer eyes. But yes, thank you guys for listening. If you're interested in any of our other content, go through any of our back catalog on iTunes and Stitcher. If you are interested in sticking around for the spoiler corner, stick around after the musical break. Otherwise, I do highly recommend you go and watch this movie before it, because that ending is worth it, and a lot of it is because you don't see it coming. So I would go into it with extra spoiler warning this time around.
Extra cold.
Alright. Is anybody else, like, supremely satisfied that the word assassin is spelled ass-ass?
Yes. I kind of like it. Ass-ass.
Assassins.
Assassins.
The assassins.
But yes, welcome to the spoiler section for 13 Assassins. A baker's dozen's Assassins. But, yes, so the final battle of this film. It is pretty amazing.
They drop houses on people.
Well, first...
They summon gates from nowhere.
Those gates... Okay, so... You know, the 100 or so guys, they come in. Well, first they send in the tactical guy, and he goes in to check it out, and the town looks completely normal. So it's like, okay, yeah, this passes up to code. Comes back, tells the Lord guy, like, yeah, we're cool. They go into the town, and suddenly the town is switched, like, a dime into, like, post-apocalyptic western town.
It looks like something out of Borderlands.
Oh, here's another thing that they could have omitted. The small child peeing in a bucket.
Yeah, that was a weird scene.
Hey, this place must be safe. It has small naked child peeing in a bucket. That is the universal symbol for a safe place to be. Mm-hmm. I was just like...
There's definitely no ambush here. There's a child peeing.
There was a point there I'm like, am I missing cultural context? Is this like, I don't understand.
Well, they don't care about nudity as much, especially back in that era where...
But he gives a little smile to the kid, and I was just like, because that's adorable? Is child poverty where he can't even afford clothes or a place to pee in? But whatever. Anyway, they come back. They realize like, hey, this town looks significantly different since 10 minutes ago. Mm. And then they see swords on the wall and like arrows and like ready fires and stuff. And they're like, oh shit, we might be making a big mistake. Okay, everyone back up. And then suddenly this giant fuck off gate closes out of nowhere.
Like, there's no way you could have not noticed this gate.
How did you hide this gate? It's the size of all of the buildings.
Like, I'm just thinking to myself, like, where was that gate hidden?
They prevented an army of like 200 people from getting out of this place using this gate, so...
The gate was bigger than the buildings that was hiding behind. How does that make any sense?
And how did they build that in such a short amount of time?
Like, Temple of Doom traps were set there. and so you're just like... The fuck is that? Like, it looks cool, but...
And then the army goes like, well, I guess we're gonna have to go the other way. And then another gate.
Yeah, another gate. And you're like, how many gates are gonna show up like this?
And a lot.
Yes.
The answer is a lot.
A lot.
More than you'd think.
Portcullises.
I'm wondering if there is at least as many as number of assassins there are.
Like, each assassin had to build a gate.
Had to build this giant goddamn gate. And then of course they try and escape through another exit of the town, and that's the bridge scene Kyle was talking about earlier. That shit blows up real good. Yep. We get CGI horses that blow up.
They don't blow up, they just fall. Like
or
into a canyon.
Yeah, like it was like, suddenly like, because the explosion was so big, it made this bottomless pit, apparently. I don't know.
But they even blew up and dropped houses on people.
Yes!
Like, what the hell?
Where'd they get all this gunpowder?
They were trying to kill the Wicked Witch of the West, and the fucking guys got in the way. And they're raining the whole time all this is going down, they're fucking raining arrows and shit on all these guys, and the only one that seems to be able to dodge or block an arrow with his sword is the second in command dude, who is blocking shit like nobody's business. And you know, they're like, oh hey, don't run in that building, check if it's okay. Oh, that building's full of fucking explosives.
It was not okay.
Like, the level of explosive destruction is less like, I don't think that amount of explosives of that level would, like, is it C4? Like, cause it's like...
Like, I don't know if Japan even had that kind of technology back then.
Well, they did. This was back, like, in the 1800s.
Like, for that amount.
Not that amount, no. Probably.
Like,
they did have Dutch weapons from, like, 100 years ago.
Because, you know, like, okay, so that would probably kill everybody in that room. Like, it's a small room, you'd figure. And then it, like, blows up that whole fucking house.
Yes.
And just, like, I don't think it's that powerful, but alright.
Unless it was a structurally unsound house.
And just when you think shit can't
Alfred Nobel just went in there and went, like, TNT everywhere.
And just when you think shit can't hit more of the fan... Suddenly, bulls come out of nowhere.
On fire,
and they're on fire.
Because reasons.
They were CG bulls. No bulls were harmed.
No bulls were harmed.
Film.
CG bulls were lit on fire, though. Like, and they're having a running of the bulls, and everyone else is getting run over and trampled, only they're on fire now too. And it's just like, God damn! And you kind of think to yourself, oh man, I guess the odds didn't really matter, because these 13 dudes are murdering the shit out of all of these guys.
Yep. It's like, there are 2.5 more times more people than we thought we had to kill. It's fine, whatever.
Yeah. So after the house dropping scene, like everyone is kind of they give the fucking giant army enough time to like get their bearings and get back up, and they decide like, oh well, there's only like 130 of you left, so we're gonna get down there and mix it up with you guys.
Yeah, they just jump into a giant group. I'm like, what? There's still arrows at the top of the roof.
I mean, I'm like, there's a couple arrows around. I mean, there's not a lot left, but there's at least, I don't know, a dozen or so. And isn't 120 guys easier to kill than 130 guys? I don't know.
If you're going by, like, Dynasty Warriors rules, not really.
Well, then they jump down, and all of the guys, like, spread like water to let them in. And I'm like, if I'm part of that crew, and, like, I see a guy's jumping down at me, I'm like, okay, stick our spears up.
Yeah.
Like, let's kill this guy as he jumps down at us.
Balance it.
But no, they have too much respect for these guys.
Fight with honor, Nick.
Fight with honor. But even that's bullshit, because the assassins are like, fuck that, we're winning this thing.
So their goal is to die anyway, pretty much, so.
Because they're not done with their trickery yet either, because there's fucking more gates that are around.
Yeah.
They have one guy run around like, oh, I remember, I forgot what the first guy that shows up, like, hey, there's a safe passage here, and everyone just stops to look at him. What? Okay, yeah, I was just kidding. He just runs off. So yeah, then they're following one guy, and then he lights the passageway on fire, and then their baddest ass dude like comes around like, oh shit, there's fire, we gotta run the other way. Oh crap, it's their ace in the hole. And then we get to Travis's favorite scene.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
And yeah, the Lord guy is getting progressively less and less bodyguards because they're siphoning off bodyguards and closing them off.
Still,
so he is calm
as fuck.
He is calm as cucumber. He's just walking around. He's smiling.
Oh, he's having a grand old time. He thinks this is awesome. Like,
he literally goes like, "This is the point where he goes like, is this what war's like? This is awesome.
Yeah, this is the
more
shit,
of this,
man. We should do this." Man, we should get together and do this more often. This is great. And
like it's a paintball tournament instead of a massacre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so while everybody else is off fucking with the other like 100 or so dudes, the Ronin, our Ronin badass, and his like the guy he's basically taken as an apprentice, one of the younger guys, they team up to kind of defeat.
Well, they kind of usher the Lord into this like area where it is like this little brook on fire, and each path is surrounded by swords.
There's just swords.
It is a fucking
everywhere.
boss battle. Like you look at this and you just go, "That's a Dark Souls boss battle right there." Like I've seen that before.
You just go up and like, oh shit, I think we're under leveled.
The music changes.
And so they like, okay, anyone that gets past me, murder the shit out of them. And so they wipe out all of these guys, and it was just like, it was weird because I was literally like, a minute later, I was like, oh, weren't there 12 guys like literally a minute ago? And this guy just murdered, picking up all the sorts of the swords as they get stuck in people. And it
was glorious.
And that's when me and Kyle realized that, oh, those guys that were carrying the bags, that was basically mostly swords.
Yeah.
That had to have been mostly swords. There's like,
I want to say like 15 to 20 swords just laying about for this guy to take.
At least. There's at least 50 to 20 swords around.
I mean, they could have just picked up some swords too, but
those are expensive, dude.
No, I mean like from the dead people.
Oh, maybe. That was set up beforehand.
They didn't take enough time to go, like, they waste time with other shit during the fight, like final words and stuff. Like, oh, like, I thought everyone was gonna get their final words spoken before they died.
Yeah. Yeah, all the way up until number 7, everybody had a final word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh,
I was keeping track.
Oh yeah, let's talk about number 4 for a minute.
Number 4. Assassin number 4. Alright, so we're counting them by deaths, by order of death.
Order of their death.
The 4th one to die was the explosive expert.
Oh man,
He was carrying out a stick of dynamite.
Oh yeah.
And a torch. And then he was stabbed a couple of times, so he takes down another person.
He gets stabbed, and the look at his face, like when he gets stabbed in the back, he turns around and he has this wide-eyed
look. He has the crazy eyes.
He's like...
His head's flailing around.
he grabs this one dude. And the dude is stabbing him, like trying to get him off him, and he's got.
And then the next thing, we see the main road. We don't even see it. When it cuts away, we hear the explosion, and a giant wave of blood comes over the building.
Wave of blood is probably
a tsunami of blood.
Wave of blood actually might be a strong word. It was more like a wave of Jello.
My favorite. 2 deaths.
It's just like, why did someone spill all the Kool-Aid? Who killed the Kool-Aid man?
It's like somebody decided to bomb a Campbell soup factory.
Like, that dude was made up of mostly, I realized that guy must have been made up of mostly blood. He was just a sack of blood. Like that.
Like, he didn't actually have any bones in him. It was all blood.
No, you didn't see any limbs.
No.
It was just all blood. Like, it was just... And you're just like, what the fuck was that?
It was pretty fun.
So number 4.
So that was
number 4.
Yeah.
We love you.
And Ronan number 4.
Bronin.
He's Bronin. You're now Bronin. Shit. Man, that was hilarious. Our badass assassin, our Ronin guy, he actually gets killed, and his apprentices, we get it from his apprentice's point of view as he dies. Some of the bad guys even go crazy or something.
Oh yeah,
they go fucking nuts.
Like there's so many people dying, they just lose it.
Yeah, and it culminates where the Lord and his second in command and a couple of the final guys that are left out of his entourage finally make it past the gate, and they're like, "Oh, it's freedom! Let's get the fuck out of here." And even the Lord's like, "Nah, we're not quite done yet.
There's more people to kill."
So yeah.
So then the assassin leader has a square off with the second in command of Lord Douchebag.
Because they know each other.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they respect the hell out of each other too. And they have this final battle, we were always evenly matched, because they have a little cross swords a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it's we were always evenly matched in the practice area. But this is real war, so he kicks mud into his face and then cuts that fucker's head off.
Yep. The Lord Asshat kicks it like a soccer ball.
Well, before that, we were watching it, and he cuts his head off, and the head rolls like a good couple yards.
As if it were downhill, but it wasn't.
It wasn't downhill.
It went uphill. It was like he killed him, and then his assistant ran off camera and punted
the head. Oh shit, it didn't fall into the camera shot. Ugh, fuck. Get in there. Get in there. And then, the Lord Douchebag kicks it finally. It's like, dude, how could you kick his head like that? He died for you. I have more respect for him, and I just killed him. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't even like you. And so, his nephew deals with the final 2 dudes, and while he's doing that, he faces off against the Lord. And that shit just goes because the other guy, he's tired. He's killed at least dozens of dudes. He's dozens of people, and he's just and it takes it out of you, even at his age.
Yeah, killing dozens of people. Yeah, it takes a lot out of you,
no matter what age.
So
2017, Nick Tyson
takes a lot out. I want that written on my tombstone. Killing a bunch of guys really takes it out of you. Wow, that guy.
That would be an awesome tombstone, honestly.
They would be cool. The people would stop twice at that gravestone. Yeah. They would be like, what? Is grandma buried next to a mass murderer?
Maybe, Billy. Maybe.
I think you need to reserve a spot at a cemetery just to do that.
Man, I'm going to look into pricing for cemeteries for a minute.
Be right back. That's a little
right back. So the Lord decides okay, fuck this. I'm gonna kill you. Stabs the dude in the gut and gives him a laugh ha, I got you, sucker. And our main guy's yeah, but now you don't have a sword, and I'm just gonna stab you. Because I can deal with pain, and you're a little bitch.
Yep. And he proceeds to be a little bitch all the way until his head is cut off.
Yes.
And it almost lands in the shitter.
Yeah, because he dies next to a latrine, and his head bounces around, and me and Kyle are almost it's gonna be he
Come on, hold one.
I was thinking more okay, asshole's head, corner latrine pocket. And our main guy, he is dead, and you realize that after this was done, he was probably going to commit suicide as well.
Harakiri.
Yeah, so it's nephew guy, and we didn't talk about
Monkey Man. Yeah,
number 8. I think was he number 8 on the kill list.
Yes, he was number 8 on the kill list.
He was number 8.
Then there were 3 that died off camera.
Mm-hmm. And he dies because he jumps in front of the Lord before this. Like, I'm sorry, we were jumping back and forth in time here.
Yep.
Because he jumps in to the Lord previously. This is right before they escape that area. And he takes out a couple more of the bodyguards around the Lord.
With a bigger stick.
With a big-ass stick. And he's like, fuck you, samurai. You guys all suck, especially in greater numbers. Like, he points out, like, the ninja rule of, like...
I was like, can you do that?
And then suddenly he gets a sword into his neck out of nowhere. And then, like, the Lord is like, aha, I gave him my short sword for being so correct about your all you guys' uselessness. Mm-hmm. And then second in command, like, cuts him right in the stomach.
Yeah.
Probably disemboweling him. So... with the guy we have...
Flash forward.
So flash forward, the only guy that's left, presumably, is our main hero's nephew that we saw in a previous scene. He's been learning some shit around the way about responsibility and all that sort of good jazz, because we found him in a gambling den and all that.
Yep.
So standard hero stuff. And he's walking around, looking for survivors, and all his buddies, they're all gone. And apparently all the other 200, like, all the 200 dudes, they either died or fucked off, because they're nowhere to be seen.
Well, I would fuck off.
No one's looking for the Lord, that's for sure. No one's looking for his ass at all.
Yep.
And so he's like, okay, yeah, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna fade away on our last shot of our final hero. And all of a sudden, number 8 comes back around.
I actually had to rewind. I'm like, no, you died. Like, you died.
Me and Kyle were both like, that can't be him, right? What? Wait, what? They're all, like, dressed in black and covered in dirt. We're probably confusing him with one of the other guys,
There's, like, no way you can confuse this guy, though, because he stands out.
He stands out, his teeth are all fucked up, and I'm like, Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong, but that guy took a sword to the throat! Like... I know if you don't see a guy die in certain media, he's not technically dead, but we literally see that guy die twice via the throat stabbing and the.
Yeah, if anything, we were expecting number 7, the badass Ronin dude, to come back.
He might, because he was kind of ambiguous on his death.
Yeah.
Because he just kind of gets
his eyes were still open last time we saw him.
Yeah,
so.
But so he just comes around like. You think these paltry wounds could heal? I mean, he still has the fucking sword neck wound. There's no bandage over it. Yeah. And then they got like, well, we
rewound it a couple of times,
and we were like, well, I guess
we're like down and to the left, down and to the left.
Yeah.
We're Zapruder film.
We're jumping like this fucking Zapruder 13 Samurai film and like 13 Assassins film, and like, well, you didn't know that there were 13 extra assassins on that grassy knoll. That's the only thing. Like, if you take it in that context, it suddenly makes sense, Kyle.
Yes.
Well, see, it's just the fact that these stupid samurai can't hurt someone like him with their paltry skills.
Said back and to the left.
Back to the left.
Back and to the left.
Well, then it's like, okay, maybe it missed his carotid artery based on where it is in his neck. I mean, it would be highly unlikely, but I guess it's possible.
I guess it was also a decorative sword and not an actual, like, fighting sword.
Doesn't matter. It went through his neck.
That would be even worse, because that means the blade did more damage on the way through, concerning it might have been duller.
True.
We saw him cut that wood post seriously in half, though, so I'm pretty sure his swords were super sharp.
Yeah.
Anyway, the second command dude, we see him basically disembowel that guy. Mm-hmm. Like, he should have his innards, that was kind of a scratch. Like, no, you should be trying to put intestines back.
Well, he said nothing compared to a bear. I'm like, this guy wrestled bears?
Yeah, well, someone had to teach Leonardo DiCaprio how to fight bears in The Revenant. Apparently he wasn't a good teacher, because that shit did not work out for Leo.
Well, if his injuries were worse in the bear attack than this, then yeah, he's a pretty poor teacher.
So I'm like, are we going to reveal that he's a ghost?
He's a god.
Or something?
No, he kind of just heel taps away.
Yeah. He just, soft two steps, shuffles off. And like, well, I'm going to go continue being a bandit and fucking that dude's wife again. And fucks right off. I was just like, What an odd...
I like how it ended. It's like, so what are you gonna do now? I don't know. Maybe go to America, fuck some bitches.
Fuck yeah, fuck some bitches. Dude, respect. I can respect that. Like,
Oh, man.
It was a good ending, though.
man.
It was like, what's up with that? I mean, it should have... It probably should have cut off with just the last, like a slow fade.
I like the fuck some bitches part.
Like... I mean, I like it too, but then you don't have to show the guy clearly dying then.
Yeah.
Like,
That was weird.
Like, I cannot reach a logical point of how that guy managed to survive. Like, without any... He doesn't have any bandages on. Like, he's not being carried on a fucking stretcher.
He rubbed some dirt in it.
He's jumping over bodies and shit, and I was like, okay... I feel like if you were even alive, you would not be well enough to walk, let alone jump over bodies.
The level of broness that happened at that point was... And we mean like the douche kind of broness.
There was that point when the two assassins they were back to back against the wall, and me and Kyle were both like, kiss.
Kiss.
Yep.
Kiss.
They looked at
You
each other.
can't not see that!
No,
Even I saw this one.
they had love in their eyes, okay? I saw it. It was there.
I know exactly.
That was actually our first death, too. That was number one.
That was our first assassin death, yeah.
You know, you can't not see that.
You wanted him to go like, I've always loved you, and like, I know. and then I guess I thought it would have been perfect. I don't know.
No homo, no homo.
All the homo.
All of the homo. Jeez.
There's no problem with homo.
All homo.
But speaking of homo,
Full homo.
but speaking of homo/non-homo, you can go and check our previous catalog of Netflix and Kill to see how much homo/non-homo it is. Spoiler alert, it's a lot. Because these guys don't know, but I secretly edit in poetry I send to Kyle at the end of the episodes.
Oh, those are beautiful. By the way.
Yeah, they are. Y'all, you've listened to a couple of them. Okay, great. Great.
I will continue to not listen to this podcast.
I was worried they weren't getting through, but anyway, you want to check any of that out? Our regular episodes are also up there on our iTunes and Stitcher channel of the UGO podcast. If you'd like to suggest a movie for us to watch on Netflix and Kill, or maybe a subject for one of the regular episodes, or just want to talk to us, say hi. Tell us what you think should happen with our final assassin, how he survived. Is he a cyborg? I want to hear some theories. But anyway, you can do any of that at our comments section at our webpage, unapologeticgeekout.com. Or it also has any of our contact information, like if you want to get in contact with us via email, it's unapologeticgeekout@gmail.com. Maybe hit up our Facebook page at UGO Podcast. At UGO Podcast is our Twitter handle, along with our Instagram handle, if you would like to send us a tweet or check out some of our pictures on Instagram of our convention episodes and stuff like that. And yes, with that...
Actually, wait. It would make a lot of sense that he's a god. Because when you think about it, typical ancient god things, he was captured. He was actually caught by a trap. Doing a favor for a god will give them favors back.
Oh my god, actually.
Oh my god, he is God!
He's a nature god.
He might be the fox spirit. Holy shit.
Okay.
Problem solved.
You know what? I like this. Yeah, and if you're listening to this and you like it as well, maybe give us a review on iTunes mentioning what types of gods these assassins were, and if you aspire to that theory, and imagine some gods that we are, because if we see those 5-star reviews, we have to read them on the air word for word. That is my guarantee.
We are also bound by that.
Oh yes.
Now I need to find the character's name,
or I have to commit Hirikiri. But it's Wisconsin Hirikiri, so that means I just kneel on the floor with a whiskey bottle on my side instead of a samurai sword. And instead of shoving it into my stomach, I shove it in my stomach in a different way.
Fair enough.
It's unsettling. You don't want to watch it.
But we will record it.
Oh yeah. People cry. But anyway, yes, thanks for listening, and join us next time for Netflix and Kill on the UGO podcast. In the meantime, we're an Unapologetic Geek Out, and we're out.
Did you forget the outro for a second?
Yeah, I did forget the outro for a second. I was just like, what am I leading up to?
Where am I going?
I'm too busy thinking about fucking whiskey Hirikiri and fucking like fox spirits.
Because you're giving out.